Sunday Throwbacks. Listen, this is Larry Whitfield. So glad you could join us. Myself and Louis Boyd III. We want you to call a friend, call a neighbor, call somebody. Let somebody know that Sunday Throwbacks is on. We're here on the Vent Radio Network. This is Empower Sunday. You can catch us on YouTube, Twitch TV, Twitter, Instagram, Mixcloud,
Please hold.
Radio, Facebook.
Please
Listen,
hold.
we're ready.
You hear me?
I hope you are too.
Yes.
This is
Okay, please hold.
Sunday Throwback.
Hey, y'all, what's going on? Welcome to Sunday Throwback. This is Larry Whitfield. It's always silly before we get on, y'all. There's always something going on. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Sunday Throwback. I'm your host, Larry Whitfield. My co-host, Louis Boyd III.
Yes.
How was your week, man?
That was wonderful, man. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful, tiring, and got a lot done, though, but it was great.
A lot done?
Yeah.
Man, I'm so excited to be here today. We have a wonderful, awesome guest, businesswoman, serial entrepreneur. I've told y'all before, serial means there's several different things that are going on, and she is really making it happen in the city and abroad. But before we bring her up, as you all know, this is Black History Month, and at the top of the program, we like to honor someone who has made a difference in our black community or just made a difference in the world at large. And the person that we want to honor this Sunday, Elder April Berry. Elder April Berry. The person that we want to honor this Sunday is the late Dr. Reverend Charles Hercules Nix.
Yes.
Charles Nix. Can we get some claps on that? Yeah. Yes, Reverend Charles Nix. I'm just going to make a few pointers. As you all know, he was one of the greatest organists and musicians. I mean, he could make a Hammond talk.
Yeah.
You know, he could make it in the likes of other musicians like the late Maestro Thomas Whitfield and Alfred Bolden and a living legend, Rudolph Stanfield.
Oh yeah.
And I can name a host of others.
Twinkie Clark. No.
Twinkie Clark, yes. You know, but Reverend Charles Nix was a monster musician, and he was pastor of St. James Baptist Church.
Yeah.
He was born in 1941 in Lincoln, Nebraska. His father, Reverend Charles Nix Sr., was a Baptist pastor, and Mom, Alice Nix, who was a pianist, and his first musical influence, which brought him to where he was at that time as a musician. He was trained in classical and gospel music. He was the St. James Baptist Church musician, and people don't know this. He was a musician before he was pastor of St. James Baptist Church. So that was, I mean, I was looking at that, and I didn't know at that particular time, before he came pastor, that he was the minister of music there. Also in 1985, he released a project entitled Come to Jesus. He was the founding member of the Gospel Music Workshop of America.
Yep.
So he founded that with James Cleveland. Absolutely. The songs that we can all remember him by was He's So Real, Something About God's Grace, and I Really Love the Lord, just to name a few. Now, prior to his transition in 1988, there was a live recording that he had at St. James in 1987. The Lord gave him a song while he was in his hospital bed. As you know, he had got sick in one time, and he was in his hospital bed, and he told the story of how the Lord gave him this song that was entitled Hold Back the Night.
Oh, man.
And that was the title of this project, the final project that he did before he made his transition in 1988. This happened in 1987. And we're just going to play a little bit of it. We're honoring the Reverend Charles Hercules Nix, one of the greatest musicians and pastors of our day. and we just want to honor him for Black History Month. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with our guests, and we do have a caller, so caller, hold on. We'll be right to you in a moment. We'll be right back, y'all.
This is what I said to him. The storm is raging. It was rough, Jim. All around. I knew what was happening. Satan was trying. He was trying to take me down. But this is what I said. Lord, you told me in your word I could abide. And then I sat up in my bed and I said, stretch forth your mighty hand. And just hold back. From the children. Hold back. I told him, God, I'll do your will. Oh, and then I begin to praise him. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, I love your love. Every day. You've been just the same. I told him yes, I
Greetings, my friends. This is Pastor Raymond Davis of the St. Peter's Church on the east side of Detroit.
This is Pastor John Willis of 2 Chronicles 7:14 Covenant Church.
This is Bishop Chuck Middleton Jr. of Mount Zion New Covenant Baptist Church.
Tune in on Empower Sundays to Sunday Throwbacks with my friend and my brother, Larry Whitfield, at 5 p.m. on the Vent Radio Network.
Good evening. How many?
Table for one.
Table for one.
Table for One, written by
Table for one.
acclaimed book author Sonia Purdy, helps you to deal with the ills of self-reflection. In her book, she deals with the necessity to make yourself a priority. She also encourages you to take control of your happy. Pull up on your purpose like an insurrection. Listen, I'm telling you, this book will be your new obsession. So without hesitation, make your reservation. Table for One, written by Sonia Purdy.
Table for one. Available on Amazon or Table for one. You can call 404-594-4772. 404-594-4772.
Yes, we're back. This is Sunday Throwback. I'm your host, Larry Whitfield. Our guest is in the building. I want to read this bio, but before we do that, we have a caller. Caller, you still there?
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good, good. What's your question or comment? We just got started. What's going on?
I know y'all just got started, but I wanted to say that when is the next time that y'all gonna be reviewing music? Because I'm trying to come up with some money so that I can get my song reviewed. I'm really passionate about my music.
Okay. Well, listen, let me do this. I will give you some information around midway of the show, and you can shoot me an email, and then we could talk about it off the air. Would that work for you?
Yes, that'll work for me. Matter of fact, I like listening to this because I do know that it's Black History Month, and I want to be informed about this young lady that you have up there. I want to see what her story is about. I like to hear about black people coming up in the world.
Great, great. Well, we're about to get started. I'm about to bring her on in just a second, so you stay tuned, and then we'll talk about your music a little later, okay?
Okay, sure thing.
All right, thank you for calling, man. Everybody, this is Sunday Throwback. I'm your host, Larry Whitfield Lewis. Boy, hey, man, it's rolling.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's rolling.
Listen,
go.
I want to get to this bio about this young lady, so let's talk about it. Allyson Jones is a dynamic leader with over 10 years experience conceptualizing, developing, and executing strategic programs where nonprofit, public organizations, and corporations work together to make an impact on communities. Allyson builds value by leveraging relationships with community-based organizations, schools, influencers, legislators, and corporate partners. From her work with the United Way leading people, focused initiatives to work with the Atlanta Hawks in social responsibility, Allyson has created several successful strategies driving community change. Allyson is the founder of Influencers for Change and also serves the National Black Child Development Institute as Vice President of National Partnerships and Community Mobilization, and I am tongue-tied. But listen, I bring to the table Allyson Jones.
Hi, Larry.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited for you to be here.
Yeah.
There is, from reading this, there is so much to say about you, but before I do, I want to pull up something that I read because I want to start from there. So just give me a second. I want to pull this up here.
Absolutely.
Her personal statement says, I exist to help people, companies, and organizations realize and understand their own power. I use my experience, personal story, and knowledge to help bring together the caring power of social good efforts and the capacity and potential of people of influence companies and large organizations have. Now, I want to stop right there because my first question to you is, what is your personal story?
So, that's interesting that you asked that because I was thinking about my journey this morning and just how blessed I am. And it is from humble beginnings. My mom worked really hard to be just an amazing mother to us. But we didn't have a lot when we first moved to Detroit. She moved from Kansas. Her marriage was broken, moved to Detroit. And when we got here, we were living in a Habitat home. But prior to living in a Habitat home, we lived in a hotel. Wow. And we lived in a hotel for 3 months. And that was super challenging. We lived with friends, and we were just kind of moving from place to place, and eventually ended up in a Habitat home over in Brightmoor. And my mom, one of the gifts that she had and one of the tools that she had was education. And she always really encouraged us to make sure that we were serious about our education and make sure that we worked hard and were really dedicated and tenacious about getting a good education and working hard in school.
Really?
And so I did that. And I always had really great grades, and I always, tested well. And even though, I had some challenges as a young person, education was always super important to me. So I went to U of D Mercy. I got my degree in communications, and then I went on to get my MBA. And while I was in undergrad, that's when I really fell in love with philanthropy. That's when I really began to look at my personal life and how much we took advantage of nonprofits helping us and giving us a hand up, not a handout.
Right.
And so that's when I really fell in love with helping others, and really, instead of saying, oh, I'm so successful, let me just move through life, saying, oh, I'm so successful, how can I help someone else?
Yeah.
And so I started volunteering a lot of different places, at my church, at different nonprofits. And then I ended up getting a job at Southwest Solutions, and I worked there for a couple years, and then United Way, and eventually led social responsibility for the Atlanta Hawks, and then ended up doing what I'm doing today, which is I have a company, Influencers for Change, that you spoke a little bit about. I help athletes and influencers with their social good efforts and help them use their platform to create change in communities. Culture has so much to do with what's going on in our community. Black culture leads a lot. And so what we have to recognize is, how can we use that culture to really help others? How can we use the power and the influence that's in our culture to really help people do good in communities?
Wow.
And so that's what my company is all about. And then in tandem with that, I am Vice President of National Partnerships for National Black Child Development Institute.
Wow.
And so in everything that I do, it's my life purpose to help others see their power, realize it, and use it in a way that will really push our community forward, the Black community.
Now, is it really, we have a caller?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take this call. This Sunday Throwback with Larry Whitfield and Lewis Boyd. Who is this we're talking to? Hello?
This Cuddy G.
How
Hello?
you doing?
I'm doing all right. This is Cuddy G. I was hearing how she was wanting to help people. I'm kind of in a poverty-stricken situation, and I'm trying to help myself, but it's so many people around drugs and that's on drugs around here, and I'm not trying to become a victim. I was wondering, how could I get some kind of help? Like, I've really been trying to keep my nose clean for a long time, ever since 2007, and I really want somebody to help me, because I'm a coachable person.
Right. Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge the fact that you're brave enough to make a call, right? So I want to acknowledge that and say that I'm really grateful for you being brave enough to ask the questions. And I'm also going to honor the fact that, you've kept your nose clean for a while. That's good. One of the resources that I always point people to is 211. So 211 is a number that you can dial from any phone, a landline, cell phone, and that takes you to United Way for Southeastern Michigan here. That'll take you to they have a community portal. And what happens is, when you get on the phone with an operator, someone will connect you to that community portal, and in there they'll give you resources that can help you with literally anything that you're experiencing. So, sir, if you need support in housing, if you need support with addiction, if you need support with food or anything like that, or shelter, they will be able to help you there. So I would advise that you call 211. And I'm so glad that when it's time to ask for help, to ask for help.
Absolutely.
That's half the battle right there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I did have a notepad, because I know a lot of people don't like to write stuff down, but this is some news I can use.
Absolutely. Share it.
Absolutely. So we'll make sure you call that number 211. They're full of resources.
Yes.
They're full of resources. I'm talking about from utilities to job help to just whatever your needs. Make sure you call that number 211 and start there. And they have a lot of resources for you.
Absolutely.
A lot of resources. Okay?
Okay, I sure will. I sure will. I appreciate it.
Good.
And thank you for tuning in at Sunday Throwbacks, man. We're here every Sunday at 5 p.m. and we like to have resources. That's why we bring people on to have those resources and to have information. And then between that time, have some good music. As a matter of fact, we're about to play some music now. So make sure you stay tuned, man. But call that number 211, okay?
Okay, I sure will. Thank y'all.
God bless you, man. Everybody, this is Sunday Throwback. We're here with Allyson Jones. Man, that was a powerful call already. You haven't been here 10 minutes.
That was a powerful call.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I'm happy to help. Like, I'm happy to help people. So, you know, yes, it's part of my work. Yes, it's how I feed my children, but it's also my life purpose. And I feel like when you can work and walk in your purpose at the same time, that's a really dope position to be in. So I am grateful. I am grateful for that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Kingdom work, Lewis, is helping other people.
Absolutely.
That's kingdom.
That's kingdom work all day.
Kingdom work.
I think everybody should also understand what you do is ministry.
Yeah.
So if you work at Chick-fil-A and you're greeting people every day and you're saying my pleasure and you're being kind, that's your ministry.
Right.
If you are training people in the gym and you are motivating them to change their body, that's your ministry. So I feel like all of us can find something in what we do, whether or not it's in philanthropy, to just say, this is my ministry.
Yeah. Yep. That is powerful. Everybody, we're here with Allyson Jones, black businesswoman for Sunday Throwback for Black History Month.
Yes.
Serial entrepreneur. We're going to go to some music, and then when we come back, I know Lewis got a question. I see it sitting right there. I always see his head move up here, so I know we got a question. But let's get to some music. We're going to Derek Milan and the crew, my friend and brother. This is back from 2003 with the song entitled God is Good to Me.
Yes.
God is good to me. And when we come back, we're coming back with more resources, more information, more power from Allyson Jones. Yeah.
How many of y'all know that God has been good? He is good. He's always good. It's not just a cliche, but he really is good. Come on and help me sing this song. The words are simple. It says, though we've heard so many times. Though we've heard so many times. These simple words. These simple words. It says words that mean so much to us. Mean so much to us. Goes with these simple chords. With these simple chords. Come on, the crew, help me say, God is good. God is good to me. He's good to me. He's good to me. Second verse says, standing on his promises. Standing on his promises. It says, Jesus Christ, I can't resist. Jesus Christ, I can't resist. For he knows how much. He knows how much I care for him. I can't help but love him. I can't help. Have I got any witnesses? Come on, all over the building. Come on and say, God is good to me. God is good to me. He's good to me. He's good to now, if he's really been good to you, come on, lift those voices and say, good to me. Come on, choir, say it. Good to me. Good. Good to me. Good to me. Good to me. Come on, say it one more time. Say it. Good to me. Good to me. Say it. Good to me. Good to me. Say, God is good. God is good to me. He's good to me. do, crew? Praise the Lord. Say, I just can't help but to. What you gonna do? Praise the Lord. Say it like you mean it. Say, I just can't help but to. Praise the Lord. I just can't help but to. Praise the Lord. That's right. God is good to me. He's good to me. He's good to me. Yes, he is. God is good to me. He's good to me. He's good to me. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. God is good to me. He's good to me. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. God is good to me. He's good to me. Can I get y'all to say that? Detroit. This is Detroit singing on the CD. Say God. Can y'all sing it again? Just a little bit louder.
Hey, this is Pastor Curtis from Increasing Faith Ministries right here in Detroit, Michigan.
Hey, this is Bishop Greg Davis.
This is Bishop Harold Duncan of Abundant Life Christian Center in Redford, Michigan.
Hello, friends. This is Bishop Andre Woods.
Sunday is for empowerment, and if you want your peace, you better tune in to Sunday Throwbacks with Larry Whitfield right on the Vent Radio Network every Sunday, 5 p.m. Don't miss it.
Yes, we're back. I was looking for the table for one now.
Right.
It'll come next time. We got Sonia Purdy in the building, y'all. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just had an outburst.
Book publisher of the famous book Table for One. Yes, we did a commercial for us, and we was just like,
Yeah.
But listen, we're back. We are here with Allyson Jones, serial entrepreneur. You're vice president of National Black Child Development. Before we get into that, I know Lewis got a question.
Yes.
Go ahead, Lewis.
Okay, so you work with a lot of the athletes and everything.
Yes.
I knew he was going there because he's a athletic historian. So I knew he was going there. Yeah.
So, what do you believe that a company? Well, it's two questions. Do you believe that your company, if you were around back in the day, would have helped a lot more of the athletes be more relatable to the black community?
Absolutely.
And do you believe that if we had social media back then, would that have helped a whole lot?
Oh my goodness. Yes to both.
Okay.
I think there are negative parts of social media, right? But there's also a lot of power in that.
Yes.
Your reach is global with social media. And when you're talking about historically, right, athletes in the past, a company like mine would have not only been able to help a lot with developing platforms for social good, but also help with developing public speaking skills, developing skills, the real world skills, so that when you're done bouncing the ball or throwing the ball, that you have something that you can fall back on, that you have something on your resume other than working really hard on the court or in the field, but also something solid skill set that you could do something different with.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely for both, I would say yes.
That's good, because you hear a lot of people complaining about athletes back in the day that didn't help with the black community, and we don't know about it because we didn't have social media back then.
And to be just really, really clear, there are some that did a lot in the black community. It just was not amplified.
It wasn't amplified.
And that is a lot of the problem. You know, when I was at the Hawks, I was able to work with Dominique Wilkins. I was able to see some of the things that he did in communities. I was able to meet, Michael Jordan's mother, and she went on and on about all the philanthropy that they do and have done across the city of Chicago and in other areas. And so a lot of that just was not amplified.
Wow.
Right.
And so, it's not that they didn't do it. It's just they didn't have they didn't have a team that really helped amplify some of that philanthropy.
Wow.
And then for the most part, I mean, it wasn't amplified because it was just a good thing. Now, catch somebody at the strip club and it's somebody's husband or something. Oh, it's amplified.
Yeah. Well, that's still an issue today.
Yeah.
That part is still an issue today. So what happens is, I have a client who is loved by Detroit, Reggie Bullock. He played for the Pistons for 6 seasons, and he does a ton in the community. And I just don't feel like, even with me working hard with a PR agent, I don't feel like it's amplified the way, that it could be. But like you said, if something negative was to occur, and he did have something negative occur, he lost his sister to violence.
Yes.
And that was amplified. Everybody was talking about it. How do you feel? Is this going to affect you? Instead of, just that being amplified. Everything, the philanthropy, the positive things that he's doing, all of that should be amplified. And it's kind of just the world that we live in, unfortunately. Negativity sells.
What's the player? Is that Coleman?
Derek Coleman.
Right. He did a lot.
Yes.
He's still doing.
He still does
he
a lot.
did a lot, but what was amplified was he was on 696 doing 120 miles an hour.
Absolutely.
That was amplified. That made national news. He was on 696. You remember that?
Yes.
Right.
Even with like Jalen Rose, they don't have to let him say something about a rapper or something. It's like, oh, Jalen,
everyone's talking about it.
And I'm like, all the stuff that he
but
do,
not that he's had like an 87% graduation rate.
Hello?
Right? No, that's not amplified. So you're right.
What's
absolutely
happen
right.
to Mr. Howard now, since this controversy happened with Michigan? They're not going to look at the great work that he is doing.
Okay, I missed it.
He had a fight with a coach, with an assistant coach in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I'm coming to his defense. That a coach put his hands on him.
Yes.
And he has a right to
defend himself. Yes.
Absolutely.
You just don't put your hands, I don't care who you are, on a person, especially if they're walking away from you. And so it's sad that during this season that they're going to try to crucify him and not look at the positive.
Yeah.
I certainly hope that doesn't happen, but we know history, we know society, we know that that probably will occur. But a lot of times, people are not looking at all the skills that he's put into the guys that he's worked with, the mentor that he's been to the young men that he's working with, and just helping them understand what it's like, because he's been there before. He's been just a really great coach. So it's just disheartening and it's disappointing when stuff like that happens.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, in reference to, and we're staying on this sports piece, in reference to the people that you help, do you run into a lot of mental walls that you need to break down in order to help them? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's fair to say that we all have mental walls that we need to break down. I think that's the first thing. I think the second thing is I'm always encouraging folks to take advantage of resources around them.
Right.
So I'll use the NBA for example. The NBPA, the Players Association, they have a host of resources for guys. So they have therapists, they have life coaches, they have financial advisors that they could take advantage of for free. The NBPA has great leadership like Chris Paul that are helping them understand all the things that they need, that players, that athletes need. And so I always encourage them to go to those resources and utilize those resources. One of my clients also took advantage of a resource at the PA where he was able to go to Harvard for a week and get a certificate and get, all of this information that he needed to become an entrepreneur, which he is now. And so, I just really encourage them to take advantage of those resources. 2 of my clients have both lost loved ones to violence. And so as you can imagine, they needed to take advantage of resources. So when you say mental wall, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's also been the driver and the catalyst for them to say, I want to start a foundation to help people who have gone through what I've gone through.
Wow.
Or it's also been the driver that makes them say, I want to put my money into this because I want to make sure that, you know, folks in my hood have the resources. They don't have to go through this. They don't have to experience this. So yes, and it's also been something that has really kind of helped with them walking in that purpose and putting resources into something to make a change.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm so excited by you. I work with the Pistons and at the within the Palace, and so when I looked at them dealing with fans, the conversations, the way the kids would light up, and they stopped being this famous player or whatever, and it was like, I'm a dad too, I'm a son. I know it. You know, I know when I looked up to somebody and what it meant, and they would carefully say things to the kids because they knew that they were soaking up what they were giving to them, and that's the part that doesn't get televised. You don't see that and all of that. And what I realized, what made me want to get into life coaching is when they would go to the small, like the PAL League and all that kind of stuff, when you talk about the mental piece, the stuff that even those athletes at, you know, the younger ages were going through. So imagine them having played all those years and then now you in the NBA, NFL or whatever, and you've never dealt with some of that stuff and the misunderstandings and I'm going to get out of high school and I'm going straight to the NBA. Oh, what if you never go?
Right.
Yes.
You know, what about all those things? And I appreciate you so much because when I look back way back then, it was like, you're right. There was no person to refer them to, or if there was, they weren't aware that these resources, as you said, was available.
Right.
Yeah.
It was mama back then.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And some of the resources are recent. Like some of this stuff has been developed over the years, but I think that's just why it's so important for us to remember to use our voice and for us to remember to say, wait a minute, hold on, this is missing. We need this. You know, these guys work really hard for these franchises. You know, people don't understand that they wake up working out, they go to bed after a game and get up the next morning and do the whole thing again. They have families and they're exhausted and they're sore, can't even lift up the baby because their arms are so sore. I mean, this is a physical job that just requires so much of you and a lot of mental also. So you know, we always talk about how much money they're making, but it's really, really hard on your body. Yeah. And so for you to be working that hard for a franchise, you know, someone needs to be around to advocate for you and say, wait a minute, I'm doing all this work. I also need resources to help me through this. I also need folks I can talk to, therapists, whatever it is. And so in recent years, there's been a lot of additional resources provided, and I'm happy about that.
That's powerful. Listen, y'all, we are talking to Allyson Jones. She is the founder of Influencers for Change and also serves as vice president of the National Black Child Development Institute. And we are so honored to have her here. Listen, if you want to ask the question or you need some resources in reference to what she does, listen, the phone number here is 248-429-7224, and we're going to have her give her information as well to where you can contact her directly. Right now, we're going to go to some music. We're going to go to 1998, Louis Dietrich Hatton.
Absolutely.
1998.
Yes, sir.
Where he had on that orange suit on that
man. that was the everybody has
it was
those
a style back then. So I mean, you know, hey.
Everybody has those albums that make the car.
Right.
That album made the car.
Right. This song is entitled Holy, Holy. And when we come back, I believe we're going to a break, and then we'll be back with Allyson Jones with some more information. We want to definitely talk about the National Black Child Development Institute.
That was a good segue, by the way, Sonia, when you talked about the PAL League. We could have went right into it from here.
We'll be back, y'all.
Holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. He is the Lord of hosts. He's the one that I love. Holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. He's the Lord of hosts. God is love. He's the one that I love. Holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. He's the Lord of hosts. He's the one that I love the most. Holy, holy now. Holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. Hey, he's the Lord of hosts. He's the Lord of hosts. He's the one that I love. Holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. Oh, he's the Lord of hosts. Mama, won't you help me sing? He's Jehovah Jireh. He's God, my provider. He's the one that I love the most. He's my strong tower. He's the one with all the power. Fill me with the precious Holy Ghost. He's the one that I love the most. Holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. Can I get a witness that I love? Holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. He is the Lord of hosts. He's the Lord of hosts. He's the one that I love. He is holy. He's the rock of my salvation. He is holy. He's the God of all creation. He is holy. Pick me up and he turned me around. He God placed my feet on solid ground. Holy, holy is the King of Kings. He is my everything. He's the one that I love. Holy, holy is the King of Kings. He's my everything. He's the one that I love. One that I love is holy. Mama, you taught me how to love him. But now I love him for myself. He is holy. He's gonna love me, Jesus, baby. Even when they call you crazy, he is holy. There's nobody like him.
Good evening. How many?
Table for one.
Table for one. Table for one. Written by acclaimed book author Sonia Purdy, helps you to deal with the ills of self-reflection. In her book, she deals with the necessity to make yourself a priority. She also encourages you to take control of your happy. Pull up on your purpose like an insurrection. Listen, I'm telling you, this book will be your new obsession. So without hesitation, make your reservation. Table for one, written by Sonia Purdy. Table for one. Available on Amazon or Table for one. You can call 404-594-4772. 404-594-4772.
Hello, this is Dr. Michael Fletcher.
Hello, this is Derek Starks of Detroit, Michigan.
This is Charles Curry. Tune in to Sunday Throwbacks with Larry Whitfield every Sunday at 5 p.m. on the Vent Radio Network.
Yes, we are back. We're here with Allyson Jones. We got some birthdays that we're going to announce, and then we're going to come back to you. So let's drop that beat. Yes. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. See, I should have had your son here. All right, so Sarita Lyons, happy birthday. My list just erased. There we go. Okay, Carl Allen, Terry Jones Noble, Bishop Charles Middleton Sr. is 83 years old. Happy birthday, sir.
Birthday.
Mr. Tim Turner Sr., happy birthday. That's my next door neighbor in the neighborhood. Uncle Dean of New Foundation Christian Center, his birthday. Happy birthday. Audria Harling, happy birthday to you. Joshua Rayner, Shauna Johnson, Pastor James Jones, happy birthday to you. Sandman, Mr. Sanford Miles, happy birthday to you. Emmanuel Johnson, happy birthday. Eric Daniels, Roosevelt Hampton, Robin Slappy, happy birthday of the legendary Whitfield Company. Tiffany Chanel Jackson, happy birthday. The Ron Kelly of the Whitfield Company, happy birthday. Micah Cheatham, Aaron Cherie, happy birthday to you. James Craig III, now Minister James Craig,
Yes.
and Danielle Parker
Yes.
was ordained this past week as
Congratulations.
ministers at Craig Memorial Tabernacle. Congratulations to you all. Happy 19th anniversary to Chris and Kelly Marks, and happy 32nd anniversary to Kevin and Jalitha Stewart. And last but not least, happy birthday to my wife, Stacy Whitfield. Her birthday is actually this upcoming 24th, her birthday. But we celebrated it. We had a party and everything. And then we also celebrated the fact that she got her bachelor's in early childhood education.
Yes.
So we did a duo thing on yesterday. So happy birthday to you too, sweetheart. We are back with the Allyson Jones. Listen, let's talk about the company that you are vice president of.
Yes, National Black Child
Yes.
Development Institute. And happy birthday to your wife and congratulations.
Yes.
I think that's amazing. So it's perfect. It's a perfect segue because NBCDI, our focus is emboldening Black children and families. And a lot of what we do is in the early childhood space.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to work with your wife one day.
Absolutely.
But our mission is to improve and advance the quality of life for Black children and families. And we do that through powerful programs across the country. So we have what are called affiliates. They're chapters of our work, and there's 24 all across the United States. And we are just starting a movement to really help embolden and empower Black families, making sure they have what they need to thrive. And you know, when it comes to Black philanthropy, it's kind of how all my work is centered. It's kind of what I'm centered around. And that is giving not only of our treasure, but also of our time. And so we have volunteers in each of our affiliates that really work hard to lead. We have a great affiliate here in Detroit. There's one in Chicago. And they do a lot of work just to make sure that families are able to have powerful programs, reading programs, family empowerment programs, parenting programs that help so that their children and so that their families can thrive.
How many cities are you all in?
Yeah, there's 24 right now.
24.
There's 24,
Wow.
but we actually hosted an event last week virtually, and we had 16 additional cities hop on and say, I want to make sure that, Black families in my community are thriving. And so, I want to be part of this. So we have about 16 cities that are interested right now. So we're working with them also.
So what is the process if I'm not getting too deep in the information? Well, I can't tell you that, but what is the process when a city is interested in being a part of
Absolutely. Well, the process is first send me an email and let me know at ajones@nbcdi.org. But you can visit our website, nbcdi.org, to learn more just about who we are and what we do and our mission. But the city, needs to have a group of people behind them. Like I said, I was talking about Black philanthropy and giving of your time and not just your treasure. So they do need to have about 20 volunteers that are willing to say, hey, I want to be part of this. I want to help carry out this movement in my area. So, if they can find 25 friends that, are interested in dedicating some time to get the tools from NBCDI to do the work in their city and be consistent. And if they're ready to do it, all they need to do is hit me up, to be quite honest. And then, I have a wonderful team who will work with that group to make sure they have what they need to carry it out.
Because see, it's too many people that need help that you pick up a city and then you got some people that's inconsistent.
Absolutely.
And those people are out there needing help, and Joe won't get up to go to You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go handle his
Yeah.
business.
And
Yeah.
we provide everything that's needed. So, we provide a toolkit. We provide, the program materials that are needed. We
Wow.
have a program called Read to Succeed. And I really cannot stress enough to all of the parents that are listening how vital it is to have your child reading every single day. During the pandemic, we had a learning loss that was absolutely
My wife
ridiculous.
talks about that a lot.
The learning loss was absolutely ridiculous because what was happening was parents who had never home educated before were now home educators. And so a lot of children were left in front of a computer who hadn't even interacted with the computer before. And so they were unable to do the studies they needed to do to move on to the next grade.
Yeah.
Yet we moved them on to the next grade anyway, right? And so there's so many challenges. But one of the things that would have helped is if we simply had our babies reading 20 minutes every day. And so I try to practice what I preach. I have a 7-year-old and I have a 13-year-old, and my 7-year-old, she knows at the end of the night, even if I want to watch a show, I have to read my book. And I feel like it's just really important for us to push that. And so one of the programs that NBCDI has is called Read to Succeed, and we provide culturally relevant books for our babies to read. So instead of them just picking up a book and not seeing anybody looking like them or anybody they can relate to, they pick up a beautiful book by maybe Lupita or maybe Grace Byers, right? And it looks like them, and they see a little girl with curly hair, and it makes them say, oh, I want to read this book. Right. And so we provide those books to the kids, and then we provide some home extension family activities that a parent can do with a child. So those are the kind of programs that we provide across the country and here in Detroit.
Yeah.
And that is awesome, if I could say, Larry.
Yeah, absolutely.
When my nephews and my niece would be on summer vacation, there was no TV. So we acted out books or acted out stories. So I would have to get up every day, like, okay, it's story time. Either y'all gonna tell me a story, I'm gonna tell y'all a story, then we had to read a book. And I'm not talking, and they were maybe 8 or so. Like, we were reading social studies books.
Wow.
We was in books, and we even did math and all that kind of stuff. Like, so one day I was like, they ain't paying no attention. So they can go outside. Y'all can go outside. They was like, are we in trouble?
Because they were looking forward to it.
No, we got to do our class.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic with my 5-year-old and 10-year-old niece and nephew, I did the same thing with them. So we had no TV for quite a while. We acted out stories, and then they had to read a story and, read to me. I read to them. And to this day, they're like, we was in a pandemic.
Wow. See, you are a stellar example of something that we talk about at NBCDI all the time, which is a village. And when people say, oh, it takes a village, they say it in passing and like it's, just a way of speech. But it's not. It's not just that. That is actually true. It really does take a village to help a child be raised in an environment where they feel loved and valued and where they can thrive. And so someone like you, to have that auntie that is requiring this of me, that's actually pouring into their development. So, as long as it's developmentally appropriate, those kinds of activities really help them move forward. And it helps with things like a learning loss. They won't experience it as much because they had you. And so we need more yous in our community, and that is what we're trying to develop at NBCDI.
Man, everybody, we're talking to Allyson Jones, who is the Vice President of National Black Child Development Institution and National Partnerships and Community Mobilization. And she's also the founder of Influencers for Change. Talk about that a little bit.
So, I believe in Black excellence, and I have been frustrated on one hand with our community in some ways. But then I've also been really excited to see certain things in our community. And so what I really try to do, even in my personal life, is just really focus on the positive. Really try to think about how can we be more strengths-based. And so after I left my position at the Atlanta Hawks, I started the company Influencers for Change. And I began to just really say, you know what, I'm going to be dedicated to helping influencers push forward this social good thing. And so I started the company that way. And then, I was able to do that in tandem with my role at NBCDI.
So how long have you been founder of this
Yep,
company?
3 years.
3 years.
So so it is still a young company.
A baby.
It's still
Yeah.
a baby, but we are able to do some powerful things.
Yeah.
One of my clients I work with, DeAndre Bembry, he actually has an organization called AP World, and we were just able over All Star to provide 250 kids with brand new shoes.
Wow.
And encourage them to walk in peace. His platform is nonviolence.
Wow.
So we were excited to do that. And then, he was also featured in People magazine last year, and telling his story. So we've had some milestone moments already, even in our infancy. And I'm just excited about what the future holds with Influencers for Change.
Yes.
That's good.
I'm so excited. Listen, I want to say this briefly about the school that my children are in. And shout out to UPrep. The whole UPrep organization.
Yes.
They have a program where they have parents come in. They actually have parents come in and they teach. If a parent is weak in whatever curriculum that their child has in reference to homework, they have a program where parents can come in and learn how to sit with their child and help them with their homework. So let's say, for example, I'm a little weak in math. Okay, I'm saying that for example. I'm not saying I am.
I am.
But
that's the main.
That's the
main
I'm a little
one.
weak in math, and my child is at home, and they're doing. And this was before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
This was before the pandemic hit. The school was doing this. So now, when the pandemic hit, the teachers and the parent was now activated.
Yes.
Because now the child was at home
Yes.
every day.
Yeah.
So now I was not only the teacher that helped with the homework, but I was also the dean, which, hey, get up. I need you to get dressed. I know we're not going to the building, but I need you to prepare like we're leaving.
Right.
Okay, we're not going to lay in the bed with the laptops.
Yeah. But Larry,
we're
we
get
are.
up and get dressed as if we're going.
Yes,
You know
as
what I'm saying?
parents, we are our child's first teacher.
Yeah.
And I think that is something really important for us to understand and embrace. So as a parent, you are your child's first teacher. When you all are driving down the street and you see signage, ask them, do they see all the G's that they can find?
Yeah.
Ask them to look around and say, I spy something red. What all can you see? Those games and stuff that we thought were silly when we were younger, those were all making those neuron and neurological connections in our brain, right? So brain development was happening all during those games and all during that time. Between 0 and 5, and your wife will tell you this, but between 0 and 5, that's when 90% of brain development is happening.
Yeah.
And so this is the time when we really have to begin to stimulate that, whether it's with reading or recognizing colors or anything like that. So if there's a child in your life, I think it's vital for you to be like Auntie Sonia and to talk about reading, to get into different activities and make it fun.
Yeah.
Because those are the things, like you said, that happened at UPrep, where those parents were given the tools where they could now go home and embolden their children and be their child's first teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Look, that was wonderful, because that funny math, 2 plus 2 was 4 back when I was in school.
Right.
Now they got all this whole new software developmental.
Here and here is the thing, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong. Not only do you have to put the answer on paper, but they want to know how you got to the answer. What was the formula?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, back when we was going to school, okay, 2, 1, 2, 4. Well, how did we get to it? Put it on paper.
But I'll be honest now.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm grateful as a parent that we have the internet, because I am not the best. I mean, I had a statistic when I was getting my MBA. I had a statistics class, and it just drove me crazy. It was really tough for me. And so one of the things I'm good at is thinking about, where can we get some resources for this, right? The internet is our friend when it comes to math, because you can actually go to YouTube and find somebody explain how they got from A to B.
Yeah.
And it's helpful. So, I always encourage parents, friends, anybody that's working with kids, and you have to kind of help them with homework, use the resources that are in front of us.
They have those programs. One of the programs is called iExcel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's another program,
Ask Alex.
Ask Alex. there's a study island program, and then there's another program where there is a person talking, but there's a pencil that's actually writing what the person is talking. I mean, it's absolutely. Shout out to the internet.
Yes, thank you.
Shout out to Google.
It's an IXL building on the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, let's get to some music. Our time is winding down. We're talking to Allyson Jones, who's a black businesswoman, entrepreneur. She is a philanthropist. Yes, say it for me. That's it. Say it for me. Yes, she is all of that, and we are talking to her. The phone number here. I'm a comedian on the other side. 248-429-7224. We're so excited to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Such resources, and it looked like that.
Right,
we're
definitely
going to be networking
networking
and things like that. Yes,
so Larry,
you want to say something?
before you go to the music, yesterday on your live with your wife, did you hear her when she said, you know, since he's been on the radio, you know, he's got this voice, because he presented it the whole way like, and so. So for those who are enjoying Larry on Sunday Throwbacks, he is enjoying himself, and I love it.
I love it too. I love it too. Thanks to April Berry and Sonia Purdy that seen me doing Facebook
Live.
Facebook Live. I was doing a Thursday throwback. I was just doing music, and they saw it and said, you know what, we think that'll fit what we're doing over here.
Wow.
And so here I am, you know. But let's get to this music. This is Jennifer McHale.
Yes.
It Won't Work. Produced by none other than our favorite producer, Doobie Powell. And when we come back, we're going to be winding down and have some final thoughts. We definitely want to give the people your information. I want to give a quick shout out to John Houston Smith and Grind Time Jim. Yes, Grind Time, where he actually, John, and see, this is not even John's show, but John has a staff of people to help. He has a therapist. He has a doctor. I believe he has a social worker. He has a financial coach or counselor. He also has a chef, which I had Chef Tammy on the show. And that's actually how I met Allyson, through Grind Time. And lo and behold, she's doing her thing. So I bring her on. You know, it's about resources, y'all. It's about empowerment.
And it's such a
Empower
community.
Sunday, giving you resources and inspiration. So let's go to this music here. It Won't Work, Jennifer McHale. And when we come back, we're going to have some final thoughts with our guest, Allyson Jones, y'all. She's doing it. She's doing it. She's doing it. We'll be back.
You just
Table for One.
Table for One. Table for One. Written by acclaimed book author Sonia Purdy, helps you to deal with the ills of self-reflection. In her book, she deals with the necessity to make yourself a priority. She also encourages you to take control of your happy. Pull up on your purpose like an insurrection. Listen, I'm telling you, this book will be your new obsession. So without hesitation, make your reservation. Table for One, written by Sonia Purdy. Table for One. Available on Amazon or Table for One. You can call 404-594-4772. 404-594-4772.
Hello, this is Dr. Michael Fletcher.
Hello, this is Derek Starks of Detroit, Michigan.
This is Charles Curry. Tune in to Sunday Throwbacks with Larry Whitfield every Sunday at 5 p.m. on the Vent Radio Network.
Yes, we're back. My guest is Allyson Jones. Allyson, how can people get in contact with you?
Yeah.
And you talk fast, so I want you to slow it up a little bit.
Okay.
Because somebody's like, hold on, let me go get a pen. Girl, slow down.
Well, first of all, go to our website, nbcdi.org, and learn more about who we are, and you'll actually see my information there. But I will exclusively give it to all of you also. And that is ajones@nbcdi.org. You can send me an email, and you can email that email also about Influencers for Change if you are an influencer or if you know one that's interested in getting support as they develop their philanthropy efforts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you did not get it, listen, watch the show again, because once the show go off, you can kind of like speed through it to get the information. Well, I would prefer you watch it again, just to enjoy. But
right.
It's on Mixcloud. It's on, and I'm gonna talk about that after we get done with this, because we got to get out of here. I want you to give me your final thoughts. You might be talking to a parent that's needing help with their child, or you may want to encourage.
Yeah.
In reference to what you do. I know there's times where you have those moments where you encourage your client.
Absolutely.
Because everybody needs that encouragement.
Yes. And what I will say is that if we could all remember to help someone else,
Mm-hmm.
because that will help us.
Yes.
And I feel like it's super important for us to consider what other folks are going through.
Mm-hmm.
So number one, help someone else however you can, whatever that gifting is that you have. There is something inside of you that is powerful. There is something inside of you that is beautiful, and you can offer that to another human. I think the second thing, though, is really important, is consider what other folks are experiencing and going through.
Yeah.
We just went through a pandemic that can be compared to stuff we experienced in the 1900s. Like, this is something that hasn't been experienced in hundreds of years, and we're here, and people lost loved ones, and people lost jobs. So consider what other folks have experienced and be kind to them and love on them.
Yeah.
I think that's just the most important thing that I can say. And, I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful for the community that we've been able to develop here in Metro Detroit. And, I think those are the most important things.
Yeah.
For sure.
Lewis, what do you think about our guests, man?
I think it's wonderful. I think everything you're doing is powerful.
Thank you.
And the impact that if it's not already having, that it's gonna have for years to come. I dare say the impact is gonna have until the Lord calls us all home.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad that we have a company like yours here, and I hope that when people watch this, they can learn some, and this is gonna get you some help.
Yeah.
And get them some help too.
Yeah.
Amen.
So help, how they say, help me help you.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Listen, I want to say this real quick because we're about to get out of here. as you all know, and if you don't know because you're just tuning in later in the day, next week, Empower Sunday, we will not be on the air. We will be celebrating Mr. Glenn Cannon, who is the owner and CEO of the Vent Radio Network. He is being celebrated on next week. He is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award from Sean P. Entertainment. This is going to be held Sunday, February 27th at the International Institute located at 111 East Kirby between Woodward and John R. across the street from the DIA. For more information, please call 313-433-8384. That again is 313-433-8384. All of the hosts that have shows for Empower Sunday, we will be there in attendance to support our owner and CEO, who is a great man across the world. And he's not local, so stop it with that. Okay, Glenn Cannon is internationally known. I'm talking about big time, and we're going to celebrate him on next week. He is receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award. I believe I'm going to be doing some type of show where I'll be interviewing artists and interviewing people that's coming in and interviewing him and his wonderful wife that have supported him from day one.
Yes.
And we're just going to have a good time and celebrate Mr. Glenn Cannon. So shout out to Sean P. Entertainment for thinking of him that much that they want to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award. Again, this is next Sunday, February 27th, International Institute, 111 East Kirby, between Woodward and John R. across from DIA. For more information, you want to know what time, what should I wear, and all that, I can't tell you all that, but you can call 313-433-8384. I believe this is a black tie affair. I mean, no, it's not. Okay, well, I'm not going to get into it. It was well, Larry on Sunday Throwback said I can wear my Temps. No, I didn't. Call 313-433-8384. Listen, we got to get out of here. I want to encourage everybody also, too. Mixcloud. Download Mixcloud. Mixcloud is a wonderful app. I've had it on my phone for the past 3-4 weeks. I've been playing with it. It's very easy. It's very simple. Go to Mixcloud. Download it on your phone. It will notify you, like YouTube, that a show is on. As a matter of fact, it's quicker from what I'm finding out. And it is a wonderful app, as well as Instagram, Twitch TV, TuneIn, Twitter. You can see my show, Lewis and I, on all of those apps. So make sure you download those apps. We got to get out of here. Allyson, thank you so much for gracing the table. Yes. And I thank God for you and wish you nothing but God's best.
Thank you.
And everything and all that you do. And if you need to get in touch with her once again.
Yeah, A Jones at nbcdi.org.
A Jones at nbcdi.org.
.org.
Listen, we got to get out of here. As I always say, remember these words. God is always in the place. But what you got to do is move that junk that's in front of you out of the way and get him in your space. And when you do that, your life will never, ever be the same. See y'all week after next. Right? See y'all week after next. And we'll see you on March 6th. That's right. First Sunday. First Sunday. I'm
going to watch that.
We're going to have some communion here. We're going to, I'm just playing. God bless y'all. We love y'all. See you.